Obviously. But Jamar Chase doing what he did just now, like, how many points did he end up with?
I don't know, a lot. 3 touchdowns, 260 yards, 10 catches,
Yeah.
It's close to 60.
Unbelievable. That throw by Joe on the last one.
Wild. Yeah, we'll get right into it. Welcome to Row 26, Sixers, Hotz Heads, Dreamers. Welcome back. Obviously, I have to rep the Jamar Chase jersey after that performance. Absolutely spectacular. 11 catches, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. The game ender, I guess you'll call it, because you can't call it a game winner or a game tire, but the last touch at the end of the game to put them in a position to win. And then we'll get right into it. We'll start there. So, obviously, Ravens win the game 35-34, come back. They were down 21-7 at one point. Made a great push to win the game, scored on their last 4 drives. And obviously the Bengals played a great game also, scored 34 points of their own, 5 touchdowns to 5 touchdowns. Where are you at? We'll start. Just what are your overall takeaways?
I think the Ravens showed that, despite them being kind of a sloppy team, I guess, some of those penalties I felt like were ticky-tack about like the linemen downfield, and they kept pulling those plays back and ruining their drives. Some stupid false start penalties, just stupid crap that was happening with the Ravens. But in general, their offense is a machine. So all it takes is like one little spark, and they just find something within the defense, some play, and then it's on from there. Some kind of big gain, 50, 60-yard gain, which opens up the offense, and then can't stop Lamar. I mean, some of these plays that we watched Lamar make, that rushing play that he didn't end up scoring on, but went down to the 1 up the sideline, is just... There's only one guy in the league that can do that scramble and get away from those linemen and still manage to stay in, not give up on the play, believe in his own athletic ability to go up the entire sideline, get the first down, and then basically almost score. It's insane. So
we're only 2 minutes and 30 seconds into the podcast, but I already have to take us on a little bit of a rant, get us off the rails, because I know the exact play you're talking about.
Yeah.
And Al Michaels' call was, who else in the league can do that? And then I think Herbstreit said like nobody or something like that. And the name that came to my mind was Jaden Daniels. So just to go off on a crazy aside rant already. Obviously you're a Giants fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. You've been down in the dumps for a little longer than me now, but I'm obviously down in the dumps heavy right now as a Cowboys fan. There's no optimism for this season at all, but still I am worried about Jaden Daniels, not worried, terrified of the next 10 to 15 years of Jaden Daniels potentially playing in the same division.
Way more worried about him than Hurts, for the record. Absolutely.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Great point. A young quarterback who's been to the Super Bowl, who's had a lot of accolades, a lot of statistics. Sure. And I am, 8 games or whatever, maybe 9 games. I don't know if he had a bye week yet or not, Jaden. Already way more afraid. Who cares if he's had a bye week or not? 8 or 9 games into his career, I'm already way more afraid. And I know that we've seen something with Robert Griffin in the past where a rookie quarterback for Washington looks spectacular and then, falls off a cliff. Obviously, that was injury involved. But Jaden Daniels looks better than Robert Griffin ever did, even when he was running wild, because he could throw the ball so well. And he's much more of a... He's a craftier runner.
Yeah, he's a craftier runner. I feel like Robert Griffin III was like a pure athletic runner. That's why he would run.
I'll give you the word. Get hurt. He was a sprinter. Literally, yeah, he was
right. Right. At Baylor, he was in track and field. Right, he was a sprinter. Yeah. So like his style was just had an injury written all over it because he didn't know how to do the stop and go, the pace, the acceleration and stop, and what Lamar and Jaden Daniels do is a lot different style of a run. It's still fast, it's still explosive, it's still incredible, but it's timely. You fall the right way almost, it seems like, more times than not. It's weird. They both have figured out that, and Jaden Daniels, this is his first year, and he's figured that out. Like, he's kind of
I need to get the
it's like Lamar kind of like that. Like within the game, he's like halfway smiling on you all game.
I need to get the Row 26 like X app going because I like thought that would be like a great tweet. Like Al Michaels asked, who else in the league can do that? Jaden Daniels can, something like that. But back to the game, obviously I needed to get that off my chest because as that happened, that's what I thought. And like again, Cowboys fan, Giants fan, I'm terrified. I'm terrified of Jaden Daniels, of what he is now and what he could potentially become. But back to the game. We've obviously shout out Jamar Chase's numbers, but just shouting out exactly the chemistry that him and Burrow have when they're cooking, it's incredible. I mean, the things that they do. There was a play I wrote in the group chat. They highlighted at halftime where the play is designed basically like a post corner for Chase. Mm-hmm. He turns it around and goes back towards the middle of the field, predicated by like the coverage in the zone as Joe is doing his thing in the pocket. Joe goes to break the pocket, and already making that adjustment, Chase makes a second adjustment.
Yeah.
Back to the outside because he sees, Burrow going that way.
Burrow's already releasing it at that point, and he's leading him on like there.
Burrow knew Jamar Chase was going to break opposite of what he already make a second adjustment on a route, and Burrow knew it was coming. And when they're doing stuff like that, that's unguardable. Like that's the definition of unguardable. Great throw, great catch, great chemistry. You could be in any coverage you want, and you can't stop that. So they were on fire tonight, and the fact that they were on fire tonight and the Ravens were able to take every punch and still come back and put themselves in a situation to win the game and win the game is extremely impressive. Like you were saying, that offense, maybe you could slow them down, but you can't necessarily stop them. And I think the Bengals wrote the script to beat them tonight, get out to a big lead, try to take Henry out of the game.
Yeah.
They basically did everything they could to nullify that offense, make them a little one-dimensional, and then eventually they just broke through, like you said.
It's just the Chase Brown fumble. Like it really is. Like when you look back at the whole game, like shit like that, like you cannot do that to teams like Baltimore. You just can't give them life and give them a quarter of a field to work with for a touchdown. They're going to score that touchdown every time. Momentum's going to change. They're going to be down by 7. Defense is going to feel juice. And here we go. We're on our way. That changed the whole game. If they don't fumble that drive, they get down and get 3, 24-7. You're cooking. You're killing them. So I just feel like turnovers and dumb shit is usually what fucks up teams and is the difference between being 4-5 or being 7-2, whatever the fuck the Ravens are. And Joe's unbelievable. I mean, he's under duress all game. He doesn't really have a really consistent run game. He doesn't really have a play action game. He's kind of just doing it. He has one weapon out there that's being triple teamed. The guy on the last touchdown was triple teamed. There were 3 corners standing in front of him. Joe just puts it on like the back edge pylon, just like a stick throw, just a dart. Ridiculous. And and those guys are, like you said, those guys are one brain, and there's only a few guys in the league that have that with their receiver, their pass catcher, whatever you want to call it, like with Kelsey and Mahomes, or these types of rapport that we thought Dak and CD usually have, I would say, more times than not. Maybe not as much this year, but in general. So, it's crazy to say that, a guy that got 260-something yards, 3 touchdowns, he's on the losing team. That's insane to me. That doesn't make – it's crazy. How many times that happened? Like a guy with the best stats on the board, like, is on the losing side. That doesn't really resonate. So shows Lamar, it shows like this Ravens team, it's for real, I would say. And I also say that like the Ravens play down, like it takes them time to like play even. Like they don't give a fuck until like the third quarter. Basically, it feels like a lot of times, and then they just like turn it up. And one play happens, they get a strip. These guys go psycho. Marlon Humphrey, strips it there, I think it was, and then Roquan picked it up. It's just like their talent takes over.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I almost like wrote that they were a second half team, but then I thought about it. I'm like, they almost let the Cowboys come back in the second half. They lost to the Raiders in the second half. So I didn't want to like fully commit to that, but I do agree with you that like maybe the better way to put it is like they can afford to wait to the second half to pick it up because of how good they are, how talented they are.
They love giving lifelines out, though. They're a lifeline team. That's scary for playoff football. It's why they haven't probably won a championship. This is the style.
And also, like, the Bengals are good. Like, it's tough. They're definitely limited on defense this year. They've been playing banged up. You know, obviously T. Higgins has missed a ton of time. Tonight they were missing their starting tackle, former Raven Orlando Brown. You know, they've definitely obviously Zach Moss out for the year. You know, not that I don't think Chase Brown's capable, but big fumble tonight.
The guy,
you know?
Yeah.
But a big fumble tonight where he maybe could have used a little break and got him out of the game, you know, things like that. Where now they added Khalil Herbert. They're clearly going for it still.
He dropped the first handoff. You caught that?
What?
His first handoff on the team.
Yeah.
His first play with the team, he dropped the handoff. You saw that?
Yeah, well, it's tough. Like I didn't expect him to play much, if at all, tonight, just because how quickly they had different terminology, different plays. Like that leads to stuff like that, where you're like one step that you don't have the rep in practice doing, you do it a little bit differently. You drop the handoff. You know, it's
Roquan
tough.
and what's his name are right in your face. 92 are right in your fucking mug right now.
Justin Matabike. But yeah, no, but watching that game, you know, you talk about the Chase Brown fumble, but also, you know, Burrow threw the pick in the end zone, you know, also earlier in the first half, you know, which is a big play. You know?
Yeah, the would have been pick. Yeah.
Oh, the would have been pick was, I thought, was that Lamar? Oh, no, at the end of the game.
Let's
talk about it.
I thought you were talking about when Burrow threw a pick, but they didn't call it a pick. It was Stevens, and they said that he wasn't in, and then Burrow ended up getting a touchdown on that drive. I thought that's what you were saying. Like,
yes. Yeah, okay, all right, we're on the same page. Yeah. The pick that would have been, you know, we're that close to like that being a huge error. And then also there was the dropped pick at the end of the game.
Right. Yep.
From Britt.
Britt. Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor Britt. Yeah. Who also missed pushing that guy out on the sidelines.
Yep. Saw that.
That was a crazy play too. But yeah, a crazy game. Great comeback by the Ravens.
For a while, bro. It was like 2 quarters, you know? 2 quarters.
Before we move on, we have to talk about the decision by Zach Taylor at the end of the game, you know, to go for 2. It was just to set the stage. They just got it to 34-35. I'm only saying the losing team backwards because the Bengals had the ball there. You know, make it a 35-34 game.
Yeah.
They have a decision. They go for 2 with 38 seconds left. The Ravens have 2 timeouts, so they still have plenty of time to kind of get down, kick a field goal. If they tie the game, if they go for 2, they still have time to get that field goal, but then there's the pressure on them. Justin Tucker's missed a lot of kicks this year, including an extra point in this game. You know, so they're in a situation where they could set themselves up to win, or they could kick the field goal, try to get a stop to go to overtime, and see what happens. So where are you at with it? I feel like I set the stage at least decently.
Yeah. I think the only thing I would say is, I think it's what I said on the group chat, is that if you're giving the ball back, you don't go for 2. You kick the field goal. If you're giving the ball back and they have 30 seconds, they have timeouts, and they're going to go kick a field goal and beat you, then you don't go for 2 there. You go for the tie and you play defense, because there's no difference, in my opinion. And I think that you have to certify the idea that you'll have another chance versus the idea that the next drive doesn't mean anything and they don't have to go earn it. You got to make them earn it when you kick the field goal. They have to go earn those 3 points. You still have to go the field or whatever the fuck ends up happening on special teams, but chances are they start at the 30. So I'll play devil's advocate. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll tell you the difference. The difference is if you get the stop and you go to overtime and you have to lose the coin toss and have to kick the ball off. Like we just saw, the Ravens scored 4 straight touchdown drives, 4 touchdown drives in a row. And if what you're saying is if you just kick the field goal and a field goal wins the game for Baltimore, you're still in the same spot where the field goal still wins the game for Baltimore. Whether you go for 2 or not, the field goal still wins the game for Baltimore.
I think there's other things at play, though. Here's a couple things I would say back to that. So first, there's a lot of time that's off there. It's just a lot of dull time. And I feel like Lamar, like, he wouldn't have the same momentum that maybe he had if he didn't end up getting that 3 points and they stopped him. And we did end up, the scenario panned out the way you exactly just said, which is that their offense stalled out. Let's say whatever ends up happening in those 30 seconds and they go to overtime, let's say, or the kick is missed or whatever, but it doesn't work out. That would be good momentum back for the Bengals getting into overtime. Yes, I agree that Lamar getting the ball is similar to Mahomes in effect. Obviously, Mahomes is ahead of him, but he's the next guy that you don't want to give the ball to in overtime. It's probably over. But when you talk about scoring 4 straight times, some of those drives were bullshit. Like in terms of scoring they scored 4 straight times, but one of those drives started on like the 25, like on their 25 because of the turnover. Another one was like one pass and a random the wide receiver 5 took it up the sideline for a touchdown, like crazy play. So I'm not negating the plays that happened. They happened. Obviously, we know that, but kind of strange in a sense of understanding they're going to drive the field. That's all.
So let me break down all the scenarios you just said.
Sure,
so
okay.
miss the field goal, you win the game. If you go for 2 and get it. Miss the field goal, you win the game. You said
we're going back to the 2-point conversion, you're saying.
Yeah. So I'm saying you go for it, you get it. Miss the field goal, you win the game.
Yeah. Scenario 1. Yeah.
They stole out on offense. You win the game.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Back on the defense.
If you go for two and get it. So these are the 2 things you brought up.
Okay,
the third thing you brought up was overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, if it goes to overtime and they get it, like they could obviously score a touchdown, win the game right then. Or it goes to you could score a touchdown, win right then.
Right.
So I guess that's the best scenarios. They go to overtime and you get the ball. Now,
Burrow's also, OD.
If you go for 2 and get it, then I feel like the odds of you winning the game goes up, because if you go for 2 and get it, and like you said, the field goal still wins the game, it doesn't matter, because if you just kick the extra point, the field goal still wins the game for the Ravens.
Yeah.
So basically your odds if they score in that 38 seconds, you lose the game either way. Whether you go for it and get it or kick the extra point, they win the game either way. So if you think that's what's going to happen, then if you don't go for it, then let's say you miss it, you lose the game. But if you go for it, you lose the game let's say, what percentage of the time in 38 seconds with 2 timeouts do you think they get into good field goal range or score a touchdown? They've been, like I said, they've been moving the ball the entire second half. So let's say they get into field goal range.
Would be a ton of momentum if they had gotten that 2-point conversion, had to go back out there on defense and get a stop. The momentum is way different than kicking a field goal to tie and having to go out there and make the stop. So I agree with that.
Not just the defensive momentum, but the pressure on the Ravens to be like, can't just like relax. Worst case scenario, we're in overtime. You have to be like, we got to push the ball down the field.
Right.
The Bengals could even get more creative in their defense, trying to blitz or make shit happen.
Work to their detriment. Probably.
One big sack, one big turnover wins the game. And then also, like I said, if you go to overtime, like you're saying, like, oh, that the momentum in overtime because the time off, but that scoring streak happened from the third quarter into the fourth quarter. Like there was a break and they still kept the momentum. They were on defense. They still kept the momentum. Like they're like the whole point of like, oh, going to overtime is going to slow the momentum of the offense that's been going off.
Well, it would have had
is
to
crazy to me.
In order to stop the 30-second drive there. That's where the momentum is really stopping them, is when if and when they got that stop.
But if you kick the extra point, they might just be like, okay, like we'll take some shots, but let's not also turn the ball over. Let's not take risks.
That's a good thing. That's an advantage for the Bengals.
No, that's a disadvantage.
Wait.
Like I said, a turnover ends the game. Now they're not worried about, like, they're not even going anything close to a turnover. You're saying that's an advantage because they're willing to just go to overtime. I don't think it like that. I think it like we're going to try to take shots. I don't know.
If Lamar was just chilling, it's 35-35. He gets the ball at the 30-yard line, let's say, whatever, the touchback, and they start at the 30-yard line.
70%. They kick a field goal 70% of the time there.
100%. We agree.
So you lose 70% of the time.
But if the Bengals had figured out a way in that moment to get that stop, first of all, their best chance is in that moment, in my opinion, their best chance to get that stop at that moment is probably at that moment when Lamar's feeling like, I'm good, we can go to overtime. If I get it, if I don't get it, let's not force it. No stupid turnovers.
Well, he's not gonna be like, oh, if I get it, I get it. It's not gonna be like that, but it's not gonna be like, oh, I have to make something happen here. Where, like I said, it's pressure versus like comfort. Like, it's not like he's going to be like, let's not go win the fucking game here to them in the huddle before the series starts. They still have a good opportunity to win the game. It's not like they're going to be like, let's hand it off 3 times and go to overtime. Like, they have 38 seconds and 2 timeouts.
I'm not saying they wouldn't try to go score, but I'm saying the urgency, if they were down 1, the urgency to go score would be very much heightened, I would say.
All right, but you would trade that urgency, if you will, heightening by whatever percentage to have a 1-point lead.
Yeah.
And if they miss a field goal, bad snap, someone drops a pass and it pops in the air and it gets intercepted, you win the game.
Yeah,
it's a different environment. And like I said, it's like loser mentality to be like, oh, let's just go to overtime and hope we win the coin toss.
Oh, I don't think Lamar would have had that realization or anything like that. I'm just more talking about like why you're going for two. You're going for two to end the game. Going for two there doesn't end the game, is my point. You usually would go for two in that scenario to end the game. That's the only thing I'm kind of.
So you're going for an end the game versus keep the game going.
The game is going back to Lamar. It's just like, what the fuck? Like,
I'm going for win the game versus lose the game, because if you tie the game, you still have a very high likelihood of losing the game in regulation, in my opinion. I think
does that likelihood
mathematically
change at all with them tying it or being up one?
I think being up, you put a little more pressure on them. And like I said, you say you throw it deep and someone drops it and you intercept it. You don't just go to overtime, you win the game. So I think your percentage chances of winning the game go up slightly. I'm not saying it's an astronomical difference, but if you take that lead there, like you're saying, just scoring changes momentum. If you take the lead there, that momentum's huge. Your defense coming out knowing they make one play, one big sack, one big strip, one big pick, one big play, and it's game over, versus, one big play and the game is still going on. Even like even a stop on third down. We're talking about only interceptions and stuff like that. Even a fourth down stop ends the game. Like, you got to think about it. Like I said, if they do move the ball and score
also on the road.
Like you're saying, if they're up one and they go kick a field goal, they win the game. If they're tied, they go kick a field goal, they win the game.
Right.
The same argument could be made in reverse.
Right. That's
why you should go for it, because playing it safe, you still lose if they go kick a field goal. I get what you're saying. Like if you kick
terrible for the record, the 2-point conversion play call. Awful.
And we're not even bringing into the fact that I said it before they even before replay even came out. Joe Burrow got smashed in the face. Clear,
I don't know what that was.
The passer.
Yeah, that was nuts. Should have been
as egregious as Sam Darnold a couple weeks ago. We saw.
Yeah. I don't understand how they're missing these calls. It's crazy. They talk about protecting quarterback. These guys get mauled.
They're afraid of on the game deciding plays. It seems like in the fourth quarter.
Earlier in the game, John, did you see the one where they cut the highlight where he got hit from behind, late? It felt like from Humphrey. Humphrey was playing.
They were talking about it, but that one is you decide in the game, and they showed Gesicki getting held. That was a clear we're saying oh, it's a bad play call, didn't work, blah blah blah, but it almost worked. They got a call. They should have had another.
Tanner Hudson is wide receiver 2 out here because he doesn't want to throw to Ioshiva, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. He doesn't really have anybody to throw to.
Yoshivas had that big play.
Letting him down. It's so fucked up.
He had that big play on fourth down to keep the game going. It was razor thin too.
I don't even know if he caught that ball. You saw that highlight? It looked like
he caught it for sure. It was
obviously the knee, but the completion of the catch that the rule used to be, that shit would have been maybe could have been a Des Bryant situation right there. Oh my god!
I think that was the catch was never even in doubt for a second. I think it was he short or not
when he landed on that on the sticks, right on the sticks.
It's allowed to move, but the ball, if you caught it and then it moves while you're still holding it, that's fine. It's if the ball is assisted by the turf,
he
already caught the ball. No, but that play was great. That was great. He might have been half an inch short, but you can't overturn that there.
No. But hell of a game by Burrow. I mean, guy's running for his life, just making throws. Lamar's unbelievable. I mean, he's just running for his life and making throws. Seems like he runs for fun though. He'll just run around. He's fucking with the defense. It feels like when he's juking and all these guys, it's smiling half the time. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Lamar's been insane, incredibly good, really great player. In terms of just one more thing to add before we start the Hotz Corner, it's we love baseball. Both of our teams made deep runs, but it is nice now that and we could get back to just talking football. It is in our heart of hearts.
Strange. It's strange talking about the Mets and the Yankees during.
It's not strange. I mean, they were both there. Even playoff baseball in general, I love, but obviously it's nice to just get. Now we can lock in NFL, college football.
For sure.
So that's exciting.
All right, well, welcome to the Hotz Corner. Grab your fucking joints and your fucking coffees and whatever, get your water. But I got 5 questions for John tonight. John's then got 5 questions for me. You know how it go, rapid fire. Here we go. John, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool. Who's the best player to attend Texas, Alabama, and Ohio State? One from each.
One more time.
Who's the best player for football? Who's the best player to attend Texas, Texas, Alabama, and Ohio State? One player from each.
Okay, football only. All right, Texas. Ricky Williams is the name that jumps out to me. Heisman Trophy winner. Alabama. Oof, there's so many good ones. The first one off the top of my head is Julio Jones. And then who was the last one?
Ohio State. Julio Jones.
Ohio State. In college at Ohio State would be Eddie George.
Mad good player. All right, chocolate or caramel?
Chocolate.
Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, New Balance. Rank them.
Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, New Balance. Yeah. I was like, there's no other way to put it.
Top 3 places you want to visit in Asia, and I need a city.
Phuket, Thailand, Japan, Tokyo, and Bangkok, China.
Bangkok's in Thailand.
Excuse me, Beijing.
I was like, you already got Phuket. I was like, you trying to go into another city? Like,
no, it was Beijing. I got confused.
You're good. All right, top 3 Christmas presents you've ever received.
Damn. I got like a Nesquik go-kart when I was little. It like broke pretty quick, but it was pretty awesome while it lasted.
All right, not bad.
The Nesquik go-kart. I got a Sergey Fedorov hockey stick. It was pretty sick. I remember that one well.
Sergey Fedorov. What a name. Is that a devil?
Yeah. He was most of his career with the Red Wings. He might have played with the Devils a little bit, but I remember him as a Red Wing.
Devil again.
Sergey Fedorov. And then I'm trying to think of like little kid stuff. Like what was my favorite when I was little.
Did you get like a big Barney or something when you were young?
Nah, I didn't fuck with Barney.
Thomas the Train.
Nah, I guess I just I used to like getting the Hess trucks every year. That was always like a thrill.
Yeah, great answer. Oh wow, I didn't even think of that. I've gotten those before, and excellent.
Yeah,
answer.
the Hess trucks rock.
All right, list your favorite team's offense from any generation, position by position. You don't have to specify tackle or receiver, like in terms of slot or whatever, left tackle. Just list the names.
You said any sport or it's football?
Well, you could just be your favorite position, I guess. I mean, your favorite team. So you can pick basketball too, position by position.
Well, I guess I would say it's a lineup, and it would be like the Mets 99, and I would say catcher Piazza, first base Olerud, second base Edgardo Alfonso, shortstop Ray Ordonez, third base Robin Ventura. The outfield, there was a lot of platoon.
Agbayani. Need that.
Yeah, Benny Agbayani, Jay Payton.
Great name. Great defense.
And yeah. But I mean, I'm trying to think of who else was out there in the outfield.
Ruben Sierra.
No, I remember at least playing a few games. Julio Franco.
Wow, yeah. One of the oldest players ever.
Yeah, he played till he was like 46, and that's if his birth certificate was true. So
I thought he played till 47, like his actual jersey number. I always thought that.
Maybe 47. I remember 46 for sure. And like I said, that's if his birth certificate is
on the
accurate.
Braves.
So.
Yeah. He was old as fuck. All right, your turn. Go ahead.
All right, who is the most underrated great player in sports history?
Underrated great player in sports history.
So like someone who has all the accolades but still doesn't get enough love kind of thing.
I'm going to say Kobe.
Kobe, I like that. Most disappointing movie you've seen in the theaters?
Wow, there's so many. In the theaters. What was the name of that movie? What was the name of that movie? District 9, I think it was called.
District 9?
District
Okay.
9. Oh, so bad. Oh man, I remember. I think we walked out early on that one. Yeah, District 9.
Best type of exotic pet.
That's a funny one. Best type of exotic pet. I don't know. Maybe like a tiger, I guess. That's pretty cool.
All right. Favorite Broadway play.
Favorite Broadway play. Let's go with the Nutcracker.
All right. And worst century or decade to be alive.
Probably the that's
I
tough.
figured decade would be like in the last
That's good.
100,
Century,
150
worst
years.
century? It's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
century would be like 13, 14, 15. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's tough. Worst century to live. It's
Or
gotta
decade.
be- What? I'm sorry. Or decade?
Or decade in the last like 100, 150 years, like I said.
I mean, obviously the 30s is a decade I would think about, but if I was going to
Yeah.
go with like a century, man, that's tough. It'd have to be way, way back. It'd have to be way, way back.
If you want to go with like a time
Yeah,
period
good.
that's
Dilo
like
said
has a,
35. Dilo said 35 to 45 for decade. That's good. Okay. Yeah. But that's not like actual, it would be 30 to 40. So, you know, because you'd do the depression and shit like that, and then
yeah, I think he's throwing in like the end of the Great Depression into World War
into World War
II.
II.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little
Which is-
extension there.
Yeah.
I like where his head is though. Okay, but I don't know. In terms of a century, that's tough. It'd have to be prehistoric before they had modern medicine. Before like when people were dying of disease and shit like that. Has to be if we're doing a whole century, 100 years, has to be way in the past.
I'll throw you a lifeline. Dark Ages or
Yeah,
1935
Dark Ages
to
or, like,
1945.
the fucking whatever, like when we lived in caves and shit, like the caveman times, like then that century, whenever that was, like
Yeah. BC.
BC.
All right, fair enough.
Before the man. Yeah.
All right, you can go ahead and we'll go over yours first.
All right. So let's go over. I want to go over the team. So what's your favorite team's offense? So you talk to me. So this is your favorite team's offense. So for the record, so in a lineup, what would be the lineup of those players of the Mets? Because you gave me the positions, so that's why I was going to wait, and I wanted to ask you now. What would be your lineup for those guys? Who's batting? Who's leading off? What's going on here?
Yeah, I think you got to go with so 99. They also had Ricky Henderson. That's who I couldn't really remember.
That doesn't count. No, that doesn't count.
They did. What do you mean? I was there. I went to games. He
They
was
go to World
the
Series.
starting. He was
They go
the
to World Series?
starting. No, but I'm saying this wasn't the year they went to the World Series. I'm not talking about the 2000. I'm talking about 99.
Oh wow.
Olerud wasn't there when they went to the World Series either. It was Todd
True.
Zeal.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'm specifically talking about the 99 team.
Okay.
So Ricky Henderson's leading off.
Sick.
Then you have Edgardo Alfonso. Even though he was old, he was still fast as shit. He wasn't stealing a ton of bases, but he was a great base runner still. Edgardo Alfonso second, Mike Piazza third,
Facts.
John Olerud fourth, Robin Ventura fifth. Then I'd probably go with Darryl Hamilton. I would say was the outfielder that I liked then.
Yeah.
Jay Payton wasn't there yet. I was mistaken,
Oh.
so my apologies. And then either Agbayani or Bonilla, based on the
Was
pitcher.
Peyton also an A, just like Ricky?
I don't remember. I'm Jay Payton. I know went to the Rockies, maybe an A also. But yeah, and then Ordonez batting ninth.
Fire. Then we went to chocolate or caramel. You said chocolate?
Yeah, I think caramel can't even exist on its own. Like it has to be with chocolate or with something else. Like chocolate, you could have a milk chocolate bar by itself.
That's not
You can't have
those
like a.
caramel bars that a lot of people eat and shit like that.
You mean like old people, like Werthers? Like, are you fucking crazy?
I have no idea. I don't eat caramel. I don't eat all caramel stuff. Usually has peanuts with it, so I've avoided it my whole life. So I have no idea about the caramel world. Even when I created the question,
Well, you just
I didn't
you
even know
just
that caramel was posed as being
You,
an undercard of chocolate.
you just echoed my sentiment that
Essentially.
everything that is caramel has peanuts. Like it has something else.
Right.
Like you know that like chocolate, you could just eat chocolate. Hershey's Kiss, Hershey's
Sure.
chocolate bar, dark chocolate, white chocolate. You could just eat chocolate. You can't just eat caramel. Like I said, you
Yeah.
can like Werther's or like
Almost
people
chocolate.
get like people go to like fudge shops and get like caramel bark and like bite that. Those people are psychopaths or 150 years old. It's less sugar.
Our boy Dilo, who's watching this show right now, definitely eats those caramel things while he's working during the day. Facts. 100%.
No way. He doesn't eat fucking Werther's. Nah, I mean that's not even hard. Like you got to go like chocolate or vanilla chocolate. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
can't even
All
go
right.
chocolate or caramel. That's a beatdown.
All right, keep it moving here. Top 3 places in Asia you'd like to visit. You said Phuket, and then you said Beijing in Thailand, and then you said Tokyo in Japan.
No, I said Phuket.
I'm
I said
joking.
Bangkok in China. I didn't say Beijing in Thailand. You got it wrong.
I just flipped it on
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah. No, you didn't do it on purpose. You fucked it up.
100%. Swear to God, I did it on purpose.
No. Beijing in China, Tokyo, Japan, Phuket, Thailand. Thailand up there. I would have said Cambodia, but I was blanking on a city. I got to get my geography up. I'm usually good at. I usually know one city in every country. I couldn't think of a city in Cambodia.
You definitely know one for sure.
I mean, I'm sure I do. Like, I just can't think of it right now. I know the killing
capital,
field,
I'm sure.
the killing fields of Cambodia. That's where I want to go. Fucking Pol Pot.
Yikes. That's a bad place.
Yeah, but I would check out Cambodia. Like when I went to Phuket, like I wouldn't leave Thailand without also going to Cambodia. And
Phuket's
then
cool. Phuket's way better than Bangkok anyway. So even why I said Bangkok,
yeah, I wouldn't want to go to Bangkok. Bangkok is
not a
like
place that you want to go.
Phuket is like if you want to go to the beach. Bangkok is like if you want to go in like the city of like where there's like a billion people and the size of the Bronx.
For sure. You can go to the Phi Island. I went to go see the monkeys there in Phuket.
Yeah.
The beach was filmed with DiCaprio. That movie back in the day.
My sister and my mom went.
Yeah, it's cool there. It's
Yeah.
nice. There's a lot of lady boys and a lot of tourism and a lot of weird shit.
There's
in
way
Thailand.
more in Bangkok.
Yeah, facts. Phuket has its own district too. It's a fucking weird place. I went to a fucking ping pong show. I'll tell the viewers. This fucking woman was using her vagina as a muscle, like shooting ping pong balls across the room. She would use like it to shoot a dart, and someone was holding a balloon in their hand, and she was like shooting darts and shit, and like using her vagina as a muscle. It was fucking insane.
As soon as you said ping pong show, everyone knew what you were talking about. You didn't have to get into fucking graphic detail.
Crazy. Anyway, what else you said? You said Beijing, China. Yeah, Beijing's cool.
Yeah,
probably-
I mean, I was
I'd pick
probably
Shanghai
thinking.
over Beijing.
Okay, fair enough.
That's one thing I would say.
And then
Beijing's
Tokyo, I
kinda
want to
nerdy.
go.
Yeah.
Tokyo's pretty futuristic. But yeah,
Sure.
I heard like in China. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've obviously lived there. Like that, like when people litter, like if you go to pick up litter, people like yell at you, like, no, that's someone's job. Like they want it to be dirty.
They're street sweepers.
They want it to be dirty so someone like can clean it. Like they like don't want you to. They like encourage litter almost, or at least don't encourage you to pick it up.
Every morning at like 3:30 or 4 a.m., there are these trucks that go out into the streets and sweep up all the trash, everything. They get up onto the sidewalk. They're like these robotic looking old. They almost look like they're built in the 1980s, but they look kind of futuristic in kind of what they do because they're smaller and still robotic.
Well, there's street sweepers in America. Like they have outside parking. So, but I heard it was like a human.
I'm saying there
being's
are
job.
actual like machines that do it beyond just like the people with the brooms that do it also in the morning, and like they get out there at 4 a.m.
Oh, you're saying?
sweep the street.
See, I like read it backwards. Like I thought you were saying like, oh, like they have these things called street sweepers. You were meant like no. In addition to the people,
In addition,
they also
no, because there is
they
so
also
much.
still have street
Yeah.
sweepers.
A
Okay.
big thing is like at 1:30 a.m. when you're fucking wasted, you go out to the street and you get chwar, which is like just meat on a stick, and it has these ill spices. John, you would fuck with it heavy. It's like dirty living, but like the best. And it's like you're just sitting on a fucking stool in the middle of the street, drinking beer, and you're fucking having meat on a stick, like pork on a stick, whatever. And then you just throw your sticks in the street. It's customary. You throw them into the street because you know they're gonna get swept up in the morning, every morning, and it's just like a thing. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah,
What's the next one?
The next one, let's see here. Top 3 Christmas presents you ever received. You said Hess Trucks fire.
Yeah, those are sick.
there.
The
Yeah,
Sergei Fedorov hockey
Fedorov
stick.
hockey
I remember
stick.
that was sick. And it was funny. A funny story. It was like I was playing like floor hockey at the time, and I was like a goalie. And
Yeah.
I remember. So my dad got it for me, but it was still like young enough where it was like Santa time still, you know. And it was like, I was like, oh, this is sick. But like I've been playing goalie. I'll have to play some like you fucking center
Forward,
or whatever.
center,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Yeah, right
Yeah.
wing, left wing, defense, whatever. And I was like, and he was like, my dad at the time, like I remember this vividly. Like dads like talk to themselves, you know. He's like muttering to himself, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess Santa didn't know you were a goalie or something like that." Like my mom didn't tell him I was a goalie. You know what I mean? Like he got the wrong seat, like was got the wrong stick. Like fucking hilarious, just so funny. Like and not like and again, this is like one of my top 3 favorite gifts all time.
But
And so
that
it wasn't
even that
possible.
memory associated to it, the
It's an
comment,
even better, probably.
yeah.
But it's also like, like it wasn't like I was ungrateful. It wasn't like, oh, I
Right,
wanted
I
a
got
goalie
you,
stick
yeah.
and threw it on
No,
the
no, no.
ground. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I
it
got
wasn't-
you. I got you.
Why didn't you get me the right stick? It wasn't that at all.
Santa
I
wasn't
was
like that. Like Santa wasn't told what the position
like,
was.
I shot with that stick
Yeah.
into like a goalie in my driveway for like fucking a year. You know, I loved the stick. But it was just, I remember him thinking like fucking,
It's
he was
hilarious.
like, I could tell he was like pissed, like, you know, like got bad intel, you know what I mean? It was, and he framed it exactly like that. Like he was talking to himself, but talking loud enough to know that I could hear him, you know, it's just like, yes, Santa didn't know you were a goalie. It's just fucking hilarious. Just so
no.
hilarious, fucking divorced growing up humor.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
and then the other, but Hestrucks obviously rock to get the new one every year. Like one came with like
a in your truck. The trucks that go in the
yeah. One had like a helicopter landing one year, like with like a little
in the truck and the helicopter's on top. It's just nuts.
helicopter lands on the shit. The Hestrucks rock.
Out
They were
here,
always,
yeah.
and I probably never played with one like after Christmas. Like, but
No.
like on Christmas Day, it was my number one thing that I was playing with.
It had like a
that day.
3-day duration, and then it's just on the mantle till next year. And it's like almost
Yeah,
like
then it was like a collectible.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's like
but
a
that
Lego.
was. But you did play with it. Like on Christmas Day, it was like your go-to play with toy.
Fact.
And then the last one was a Nesquik go-kart. I swear I probably took it out maybe 6 times tops before it like blew a transmission or something like that, you know. But what it lasted, it was so much fun, and like the reveal of like taking the tarp off of it.
yeah.
And I was probably like 7-8 years old, and it was like a full ass go-kart as opposed to like a Tonka truck that you used to
Yeah.
get, which also honorable mention, those little Tonka trucks when you get those
Fire,
when you were a
fire.
little kid was fucking
sure.
incredible. You
Yeah.
felt independence for the first time. Fucking
Like you could go
and
anywhere.
then but the go-kart was like next level. It was like, oh, this thing goes fast, you know, like this isn't just like something that tools around a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's a little
Fucking
intense.
yeah, it was like you go fucking 20 miles per hour on this shit.
Yeah, if you were like go-karting down your old driveway, bro, holy shit, dude.
Nah, not the driveway. Like we put it in the truck and then bring it to like an outdoor somewhere, whatever track, fucking woods. You know what I mean? Like
I got you.
flat land or whatever, and fucking take
Like
it out.
Ungava trails or
I'm
some
sure
shit.
we messed around in the backyard, like on Christmas, like in the backyard. I had a pretty big backyard growing up.
Yeah.
That, like, but just for like that, and like going mad slow. But I mean, like when we like take that bitch out and fucking let it go, like that was wild for like a little kid. That was fucking crazy.
Damn.
But it was short. It was short lived, and then it like sat in my shed for like 6 years before we
as
eventually,
usually, transportation vehicle, whatever you get, like a scooter or something like that, or some kind of razor or scooter, or whatever.
Yeah.
It has a duration period, and then it's done. It's just how. It
Well,
goes.
it like broke down, and then we like never fixed it, and then eventually like scrap metaled it. Like eventually when we like cleaned out the shed,
yeah.
like 6
Like,
years
oh, shit,
later.
I haven't used this in years. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. Like, oh, we never got this fixed. We should probably just get rid of it.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was awesome. All right,
word.
you got
That was
any
a
more?
Good answers on that one. Who's the best player to attend Texas, Alabama, and Ohio State? So for Texas, you said Ricky Williams. Alabama, you said Julio Jones. And Ohio State with the Eddie George shout. I like your list, honestly.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. There's obviously so many honorable mentions. Such
all
tremendous-
offense. All offense. No shouts to the D, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like obviously Alabama's had some great defensive players. You know, but
I
like
think
when I
of the
think
best defensive players even from these schools, if I'm thinking about it. Aaron
the
Ross
best-
from Texas, that's best defensive player.
Earl Thomas.
Earl Thomas. I know. I'm just
No, I'm saying Earl Thomas would have been mine. That's
Good
how I
name,
thought of
good
him.
name.
Earl
Good
Thomas was amazing, you know.
Amazing.
And then at Alabama, there's D'Amico Ryans is one that
So
stands
many.
out to me.
Good one. That's a good one.
D'Amico Ryans was spectacular in college.
Humphrey's not from there, right? Marlon Humphrey. He's a great
We're
player.
talking. If we're talking just well, also in the NFL too, actually, Minka Fitzpatrick.
Minka.
You know, absolute stud. There's some young up and coming D lineman, Will Anderson.
Landon Collins.
Yeah, Landon Collins was good. I'm trying to combine NFL and.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean he was amazing in college. You know?
Yeah, he was horrible for the Giants, and then they let him go, and then he signed for $80 million and sat on the contract for the Redskins. It was sick.
Will Anderson's got a chance to push it. You know, the Texans D
Good one.
lineman.
Yeah,
Obviously,
He's
you know,
amazing.
some other young guys, but
He got banged up
Yeah.
last week. I thought.
Will Anderson's a stud though. And then best defensive player from Ohio State. I like Marshawn
Hawk.
Lattimore.
AJ Hawk.
I'll take Marshawn Lattimore.
AJ Hawk.
Nah, get out of here. No,
Lattimore's
he was
a great
good.
name.
Yeah, I mean, Marshawn Lattimore is amazing. Like, there's a lot of guys who are good but didn't really perform
I
well
don't
in
think
the
they
NFL.
see the offensive player that you were talking about, like guys like Eddie George or Julio Jones.
Well,
These guys are game records.
Like, if I'm talking about Ohio State again, potential-wise, like C.J. Stroud came to my mind, honestly, but I can't put him above Eddie George yet, especially with I'm leaning towards college, but they had to be a good pro also. Like, you know, I didn't want to throw out, like, fucking Cardale Jones, you know what I mean? Dwayne Haskins, like, rest in peace. But
Tua.
Jalen Hurts.
These are names.
But he had to transfer to Oklahoma because Tua came in, so.
Yeah, that's true. He got the boot. All right, let's keep it moving. Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, New Balance. You said it was exactly in that order. Adidas is...
Shout out Ricky Williams in college too, for the record.
Oh yeah,
and
shout
Ricky
out
Williams
in
in the pros.
Yeah, we didn't question that.
I think Ricky Williams might be of those three the most like inarguable.
Yeah, for sure. He has the Heisman. Eddie George won the Heisman too, though, didn't he?
Eddie George won the Heisman also. Alabama, shout out to Derrick Henry. He played tonight. That might have been a miss over Julio.
Holy
yeah. Over Julio maybe.
He's unbelievable.
But Julio Jones was incredible, and I do think of wide receivers from Alabama a lot. Like that's a position that they're known for. Devontae Smith, obviously, Julio Jones,
Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner. So that's a good name.
Yeah. All right, keep it moving.
Triple Crown, I think he won that year too, or whatever the fuck it was, like the 3 stats, whatever it was. Devontae won some shit. Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, New Balance. I said Nike is first for sure. Under Armour, Under Armour second for me. New Balance is third. Adidas is fourth for me.
Yeah. No, I know your reasons. It's tough, like, to know all that history, like, but I respect it. But at the same time, if I'm saying like what's nice,
I will not hijack your answer. It's more about what
it's like what I'm most likely to wear. Like Under Armour has like a purpose for me. Like I'll wear like if it's like cold. Like I'll wear like some Under Armour to like walk my dog. Like I have like
shirts. The material is nice.
I know I don't love the logo, to be honest. Like I like it as it's like cold gear. What it was originally Under Armour. I like it underneath other shit. Like it's not an outerwear to me.
It's crazy how there's no other company that's emerged all this time. Like I feel like I guess there's like been like these side companies that kind of like the Noble company by Brady and whatever, and they have like these different types of athletic wear side company. Even like Lulu stretches into.
I was gonna say Lululemon is like one that's broken out.
There are like companies like that, but it feels like there's nobody.
Like Fabletics, like
there's like a certain bracket that Adidas, Under Armour has entered into now, which they did a great job getting into barely, but they're in there. New Balance is kind of has a halfway foot in there, halfway not foot in there, but. It's like they kind of play that game between the old people and then like the track star people, I suppose. New Balance, and they sort of have basketball now a little bit now, but it's weird. Like I don't know why there's not another brand that kind of has entered this sport category in a sense and sponsoring leagues, whatever the fuck. Like, is it that sewn up, like that monopolized?
I mean, there's probably room to break into the market, but I just think like with the way that like there's like brick and mortar is dying. Like Lululemon is like probably the last brick and mortar. Now it's all like online, where it's like Fabletics, things like that. Even like beyond just online, but even subscription based now. It's like we're getting so far away from like people just going to this. If you aren't grandfathered in by now, it's very hard to like get into a space where you could like sell in like stores, if you will, to like, and especially build out your own stores.
So everyone's selling from their own store shop on their website. So in theory, everyone has the exact same store, for lack of a better way of putting it. Your design and your graphics and whatever you want to call it is the nuance. But in general, everyone has a store. So how do you separate yourself versus like the idea that Nike has 3 floors in the middle of Manhattan and takes over a whole block? And when you're walking around in public, you really think brick and mortar will completely die, or will it just be for like select brands, select places, and every other place will just be like a fucking WeWork of a whatever?
Well, I think,
whatever the fuck.
Like I said, I think like the companies that are grandfathered in, there's always going to be some sort of brick and mortar malls, gallerias, Fifth Avenues of the world, where there's going to be foot traffic where people want to go in and shop. Of course, like department stores, Macy's, things like that, they're always going to exist because people want to go in, try on clothes,
people like shopping around each other. People like emotion.
But to break into that now, to spend the money that it would cost to pay for the overhead of lights and rent and all that stuff, when you could sell online, just have a warehouse, and obviously have to spend a lot of money to keep a good online presence, digital marketing, have good salespeople, like to try to
do
push
it nuanced and do it even cheaply. I bet you, for some smart
customer
people,
service.
Whatever.
But basically, like what you're talking about, where like, why are there no more sponsored athletes? Let's say Fabletics, for example. Yeah, they have Kevin Hart do commercials, things like that. But like in terms of like where we're talking about now, where like Nike, you're in a mall. There's a Nike, your outlet. There's an Adidas outlet. There's a Converse outlet. There's these different things you could go to. Like let's say you are an Under Armour, you have an outlet. Having a Steph Curry billboard might get you more foot traffic.
Right.
Whereas like online, I'm not going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to have Steph Curry be the face of my online product.
Side of your computer screen. No one gives a shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the same drive as like a little kid seeing someone that they're walking by with their parents and being like, "Ooh, I want the Steph Curry shoe." Like kids aren't shopping with their parents online, for example.
Right. Exactly.
So I think, like I said, you already have to be in. There will be people who break through, but they'll be like the few and far between. Like the Giants will stay the Giants.
Yeah, for sure. There is room for another type of brand that's similar to what Nike has now become. Nike has become the ultimate brand of just within every sport now. It feels like every major league is sponsored by Nike now, right? MLB, NFL, NBA, they have the slate now. And
you'd have to be so disruptive. You'd have to make like fucking, I don't know, it has to look like totally different. Like you can't just go like compete against. You can't be a busting out company that has limited funds, limited talent in your human resources, and compete nowadays.
It's almost like we're too far down. This is like getting a little bit away, but it's almost like we're too far down the capitalistic path that we have now gone into a place where the capitalism doesn't really actually exist. It's all a facade because there really is only a certain type of amount of companies that can
it's
within spaces now.
I disagree with you because it's
point you get swallowed by another company.
It's become altered where like now you have to break through online, and then if you get deep enough online, like you maybe could get some stores, but eventually you're going to get acquired. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. You're going to sell your
point at a certain height. Someone's going to look at you and be like, we have to eliminate this in some way.
Yeah. If someone's like, I'll give you $50 million right now, and you could still keep, and you could still keep 5% of your company.
And if probably are saying, yo, we are tied in with Fox, CNN, everyone. We will smear you the fuck if you do not agree to this deal. But we are giving you money and acting like we're doing an acquisition and we love you so much.
I don't even think it gets. I don't even think it would be a threat.
It could get smug like that. It could get smuggy.
I don't think it would even be so much threatening as it just they make you an offer you can't refuse. That they'd just be like, why would you want to just keep busting?
No, though. Like, no, I have $1 billion idea. idea, and they're like, all right, fuck it then, it's war.
They'll be like, all right, bust your ass for the rest of your life and maybe get to this point where we're offering you this much money right now.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I mean.
Their threat will be to walk away from the table and be like, we're going to still be here busting our ass.
What's the angle for an entrepreneur? It's insane.
To sell your business for $50 million.
Your angle is to create bullshit then just to sell it off. It can't be
it's not
an idea that you believe in just to sell it off if that's the perception.
But no, that's the whole point. That's like walking away from the poker table when you've already made fucking all the money that you're going to make in a session.
That an entrepreneur, but isn't the core value of an entrepreneur someone that believes in the idea that they're creating?
I don't think the core value of an entrepreneur is to own one business for the rest of your life. You could build up a business, sell it, and start another business. Why don't you take the big payout and start another business? Like I said, walk away from the table and then sit down at another session and start back over. Yeah, you don't have to make all your money in one basket. If someone
I'm
offers
not really
you
talking about the options that you would have within what we're describing. I agree with you that if you, of course, like if someone's offering you $50 million, like, yeah, absolutely, you should probably be taking that money unless there is some other thing that we don't know about. Like,
I'm just saying it. Yeah, if you think your company's going to be worth, if you think your company's going to be worth $500 million in 5 years, and you have data to back that up, then don't sell it.
Let's say someone creates a company based on the fact that their mother had syphilis disease and it killed her, whatever, and they're now creating a company all around syphilis disease and discovery of it and science, all this shit, and they end up creating this incredible company, and Pfizer comes to them and says, yo, we want to buy your company for $50 million, and they're like, no, fuck you, bro, this shit means so much to me because of my mother, whatever the fucking reason is, doesn't matter, some kind of core element is what I'm driving at, and they surpass the 50 million, and that company then says, okay, they come back later on, like a day later, and say, we're going to smear the fuck out of you if you don't accept this deal. What are you going to do as a person? Like, are you just going to continue to try to build this company knowing that this other company is going to be your direct competition? They're going to create something identical to it and try to compete with it and try to bury you, essentially? Or do you just take the acquisition, take your lumps, and say, yeah, this was the reason that I created it? Because a lot of people, the reason that they created it as an entrepreneur is not money and to sell it. Otherwise, they wouldn't create the idea.
First of all, you just completely went the most off the rails you've ever been. Second of all, you're totally different. Athletic apparel and pharmaceutical science is totally different things. And then you included like a personal cause. Like, obviously, there's extenuating
reason why you would create the company.
But now you're saying like every single person starts a business because their mother had a disease.
No.
They're competing with pharmaceuticals.
When
you were saying smearing before as like Nike, that's a lot different than smearing as like a pharmaceutical company. That's obviously a way dirtier industry.
Oh yeah,
but
More the idea of smearing just from the basis of like that a mother company would come down and say, hey, we want to acquire you. You say no because the company.
Well, again, like I said, Nike will just make you a great offer. You don't take it. The threat will be like, all right, then we'll just compete, and you might never succeed. Like if a pharmaceutical company comes in, it's more like, all right, we'll smear you. Like beyond smear you, they'll go to like government regulations to try to get your drug taken off the market. That's like a totally different type of thing.
Yeah, I wasn't really going on industry though, John. I'm more talking about the idea that if a company feels like they want to acquire you and the cause means something to that entrepreneur, because a lot of times entrepreneurs can't even fathom building a company that they really don't have a personal stake towards. Like most entrepreneurs that you would talk to, especially in Silicon Valley out here, they believe in the cause that they're building. They believe in their company that they're building.
Or they're just always in sales mode, and that's like their sales pitch.
Or they're full of shit, right?
Yeah, it's like my story on their fucking website page. Like,
now we're really talking. That's good.
No, that's like I don't like
I'm
this whole
fucking. I hear you. I hear you on that for sure. Absolutely.
That's like a crazy, like, you know what I mean? Like, but not. I get what you're saying. Where like if you have a cause, you're more likely to not sell. But at the same time, I would say 95+% of entrepreneurs want to build up a business so they can make a big profit and then start the next thing. You know, I don't think anyone's like, I only want to take this one company. That's my cause. And from when I start working till the day I die or the day I stop working, I'm only going to pursue this one company and I'll never sell it no matter what. I think that is
your baby.
Very rare.
more
Very
rare than the
rare.
idea of starting companies and start. Yeah, I guess that's true for the real entrepreneur. They probably start lots of companies and fail lots of companies before one succeeds anyway.
Yeah, I don't even know
I don't
how
have
we
any.
got
I don't have
here.
any more, by the way. We're on to your.
I didn't even know what the last question was, but
Oh, no, it was about Nike, Adidas.
yeah.
All from that, just that little question. Amazing.
yeah, crazy.
Hilarious.
All right, who is the most underrated great player in sports history? You went with Kobe, and how I predicated the question was like, who's a player who has all the accolades who still is underrated? I don't know if I could put Kobe there. He's like a lot of people have him as a top 2-3 player all time. Like the only underrated he could be is if he's the second best or greatest player of all time, virtually.
No, that's my point. You just made it. I think a lot of people don't have him in the top 2 anymore, and he's kind of been pushed to the side. The conversation for a long time now, for at least the last 5 years, at least, has been LeBron and Michael, for sure.
It's a good point. So you're saying
he's off the main. There's only room for 2 on the lily pad. There's only room for 2. There's not really room for 3, in my opinion, on like that one pad that's deciding who's the best player of all time. It's now between LeBron and Michael Jordan. I don't believe Kobe is. I don't believe there could be 3 players that you can decide between. I don't think that makes sense.
No, it's very funny but I'm laughing
because
you're
I'm
like
framing in my brain. Yeah,
you're like because like there's only room for 2 on the lily pad. Like it could not like a lifeboat, not like a motorcycle.
Like there's
a
just like
fucking lily pad is hilarious, but like it's I don't know, bro. I
think about it,
but that's a very funny way to frame it, but. But you realize by making that take that he's the most underrated great player because he's not in the discussion of top 2 players all time. You're either putting him ahead of LeBron or you're putting him ahead of Jordan, in your opinion.
Right. And
so which one is it, or both?
Oh, we put him ahead of LeBron, of course. For
wow.
me.
All right, so it's documented Kobe over LeBron guy.
About me, that I'm LeBron 3 all time. For me.
No, I think for me, I have LeBron as 2, but I do have Jordan as 1, and not even like 1 and 2. Like he's his own tier. Like I don't even think LeBron is on Jordan's tier.
Yeah,
like,
that's the one that you see. LeBron.
I think he goes.
Think they should hate me a lot, but actually, if they watch our pod, they should hate you a lot.
But I have LeBron, but then again, I have LeBron over Kobe. So, but
I know. That's the funny part about this. But I believe LeBron and Kobe are just this tight, like super close.
So that's my take, is that like LeBron and Kobe is a better debate than LeBron and Jordan, in my opinion. I think that's a closer gap.
Woo. And you're hurting people out here with these comments. You see what I'm saying? So
but you have Kobe over LeBron, so I don't know why you're trying to paint me as the anti-LeBron guy.
I'm just saying that
you're saying they should hate
LeBron
me more than they hate
like
you.
This. For you, LeBron and Michael Jordan are like this.
So you have like LeBron, Kobe, and Michael all in a row close. Yeah, no.
Michael's like a little bit ahead, but he's not like where you got him. You got him on the goal line. Everyone else is on the opposite.
He's tier A. Tier B is LeBron, Kobe, and also definitely some other people. Bird, Magic, Duncan, Shaq, Olajuwon.
I'm not in love with picking players that don't have the ball. They need someone else to get them the ball. I don't love it. I guess it's the thing. Basketball take or shitty take? Not big men, not just big men. Tim Duncan is a big man, but he's more like, I wouldn't consider him. Yeah, he's a big man, but like, you know what I mean? Like when you say big man, I think centers. I don't know why. Like Shaq, Hakeem, David Robinson, Patrick. When you say big man, but yeah, you're right. Duncan's a big man, but those kind of guys that need someone to get the ball. They don't dribble the ball up. They don't take the last shot normally. These types of guys, for me, are just not guys you can put in the all-time lists. Sorry.
It's hard to be like throw that away from them, but then like it's a fair take. I'll give you that, because like the more I think about it, I'm like, well, they rebound way more, which they do. Like if you put up like Shaq's like rebounding numbers, where he's like getting 14
he had his
a
Orlando
game.
Days where he was pushing the ball up the court and being a Draymond type of guy at some point or another.
The argument more for me was like he could rebound so much more than these other guys, but then again, like it's not like LeBron doesn't get a lot of rebounds. Jordan got some rebounds. Kobe not quite as much, but they're like LeBron's been damn near 10 a game a few seasons, if not over it. And Jordan's 6 or 7 a game some seasons. So, like, they do rebound like they rebound more than Shaq brings up the ball. You know what I'm trying to say? Like the gap between them ending up on a switch and playing down low defense happens way more than like Shaq out guarding a guard, you know?
This also goes back to impact on the game too. Normally big men, the best big men of all time, were lining up against nobodies. Big men didn't play each other. There were many more guards in the league that you're lining up against also that are talented on the average night, especially back in those days. Like we have to go to each era to find a good big man essentially versus like we could find 10 shooting guards in the fucking 2000s that were money.
You can you can compare it to like how like when you go over the top 100 NFL players all time, when they do those lists, there's like 22 of them are quarterbacks.
Right.
So, and if you were judging it just by like how good you are compared to your peers at your position, there's no way it's going to be 22 quarterbacks. So I get like that gives weight to your argument where like certain positions hold more value.
It's just the way it goes. Like a center on the court versus the point guard or the shooting guard. Like, what are we talking about?
And not to compare a center to a left guard, you know what I mean? Like, because there's only five people on the court. But it does give a little weight to your argument where like, just like a position could hurt
the best players of all time.
Yeah. As an all-time player, a position could hurt your thing. Before we move on to the next question, what spurred this question in my mind was I was thinking about Ed Reed and like just how good Ed Reed was. Yeah. You know, and like I feel like playing at the same time as Palomalu, there was a lot of like who's better, him or him. And then just like over the course of his career, like on such good teams, such good defenses, Ray Lewis was always like the leader of the defense.
Yeah.
So like I feel like he took a little bit of a back seat. But just looking at his numbers, like he's like 7th all time in interceptions. You know, he had the most interception return yards in NFL history. I looked up recently. He was a menace.
Every time he picked off the ball, it felt like he was a house call. Every time.
He was a menace when he got the returns. Even if it wasn't a house call, he added 20 yards, 30 yards. Like he always was looking for the lane.
Always
to
cutting
find.
Back, holding the ball like a piece of bread. Just fucking out of here.
And could lay the hit and play run defense and played a long time, had a great career. His last year, even like splitting time with the Texans and the Jets, like still had like 3 picks, you know, a bunch of pass breakups, like just was good for a long time. And Ed Reed deserves more shout. Obviously in the Hall of Fame already. Like I said, a great player who is still underrated. Like when people bring up, you know, not just best safeties, but like best defensive players of all time, he should be, you know, in that top 10 conversation to me. And just one more.
Brian Dawkins also is another guy that I think is definitely severely underrated. I don't think a lot of people talk about him. I think people talk about him, but I think the only person I usually see bring up his name normally when we talk about old school Philly players is Casey. That's the first name he always says. He loves Brian Dawkins, but yeah, I think he's another guy like in that era that was unbelievable that a lot of people didn't know about until they found out about, basically.
Well, I think as fans, we all have those guys who play on the rival teams in our divisions or just crosstown rivals that, like, even though we hate the team, we like this player, and that was Brian Dawkins.
Marcus Ware is a good name for underrated, for sure.
Brian Dawkins was that guy for me, but I do think he was more of like a hitter, playing, you know, come up and make stops in the run game than like an overall, like Ed Reed did everything well.
Ed Reed's better player.
Yeah, but Brian Dawkins he's up there too. And just one last shout to Ed Reed is like Belichick will always gush about Ed Reed. Like and even now to this day, like in media, will like still go out of his way to bring him up. And that's how like that's a great nod.
The coaches panel that he did, and he was gushing all about him, like how he knew the Peyton Manning play. Like, it's just like how he knew that Peyton was going to look this off, and he turned his back to Peyton Manning, turned his back to the receiver, and then flips back around and still gets the interception, and Peyton has no idea what just happened. It's stupid. He's playing quarterback as a safety out there. It's insane.
Yeah, love football. Champ Bailey, one last shout. Most disappointing movie you've seen in the theater?
Yeah, District 96.
No, I think it's District 9, but that's a good movie, I thought.
No, it was
you didn't
terrible.
like it?
That was horrible. That one was bad. I'm trying to think. Nacho Libre, I think I saw in theaters. That was terrible.
Nacho Libre to District 9 is not even close. District 9 is, if you look up, what do you think, like, what's the over-under on, like, it's like Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb?
District 9 is going to be in the 30s. Nacho Libre is going to be in the teens.
In the 30s? I would say in the 60s.
All right, there we go. Yeah, this movie was shit. Holy hell.
90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Nope.
Yes.
No way.
90% on Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter, 82% on popcorn meter. It's a good movie, dude. You're misremembering.
I don't know.
Or maybe everyone else really liked it, so you were really hyped to see it, and then you watched it and was like, this isn't that good.
Probably.
It's very good. It's a very good movie. It's like
Maybe I need to rewatch it.
it's like what do you say? I'm trying to think of the right word. It's like
Nacho.
it's like representing of society, but not being direct about it.
Right.
I'm trying to think of the right word for it. Fuck, I feel so stupid right now that I can't think of the word.
Representation?
I'm so mad. No, I can think of the word representation. I said the word representation in my sentence. I said a representation of society, but like thinly veiled, like not in your face. But I just can't think of the right. There's a word for that, and I feel so dumb that I can't think of it.
I don't know what you're getting at, so I can't help you. But
no, you're good. I'm the dumb one.
39%, 39% Rotten Tomato.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, District 9, I think it's worth another watch. I like rate movies that I watch. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. Like, you know, it's a good movie. Solidly good movie.
Jack Black guy?
I like Jack Black. I didn't watch Nacho Libre. I knew that wasn't going to be a good movie from the ads.
That was not good.
I love Jack Black though. School of Rock is a 4-star movie in the John Hotz rating system, 4 out of 5. Great movie. I still remember not just songs that like the School of Rock sang, but songs that like the rival band sang in that movie that like kicked him out of the band that ended up winning the Battle of the Bands. It's like, I'm heart sick, heal me, I'm hungry, but I could survive on you. See, I can remember that, but I can't remember the word that I'm fucking thinking of. That's how my brain works, dude. I'm gonna figure out. No, dystopia means like the opposite of utopia. There's like a word in terms of like art
out here, bro. I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm just
fair enough, but I'm just saying it's like a word used in art or like music or television. Like it's like a
Monet,
maybe an allegory or something like that. I don't know. Now I'm throwing words out there.
An easel?
No, not literal art. Like something that describes a work of art. Oh my god. He goes an easel.
Man, maybe you need a paintbrush and some easels.
Best type of exotic pet.
I said a tiger. I thought that would be cool. I thought of Mike Tyson and him having a big tiger in the back. That was pretty cool. I don't know. I'm not really like big animals guy in the house, generally speaking. Dog's good, but that's not exotic. So maybe like a Siberian Husky. Is that exotic? Like an actual official one, like 180 pounds? Like a big dog?
A dog is an exotic pet? No, dude, it's got to be like a snake or some shit like that. Or tiger's
not what
good.
I want.
Have you ever seen anybody with an emu?
What's an emu?
An emu's like an ostrich. Like it's like a large bird.
That sounds like fucking hell.
Terrifying, scary as fuck. But there were emus next to Kenny Henderson. I don't know if you know Kenny Henderson. He's in my sister's grade. His neighbor had emus. Right off of Westerly in New City.
Oh wow! Can you sit on the back of them and they'll fly?
No, they don't fly, dude. They're not condors. They're fucking like ostriches. Like I said, they got long legs and they maybe get off the ground a little bit. Yeah, they just fucking stalk. They're like descendants of raptors.
Oh wow!
You know? Do you think dinosaurs had feathers, or do you think they were smooth and scaled?
Probably smooth and scaled if I had to think about it.
But don't you think they evolved into birds?
Not all of them. Maybe the pterodactyls you're saying that was the first.
No, I'm saying like raptors and T-Rexes, all that shit. Like I said, like a raptor to like an emu or an ostrich. With like weather changing to like survive. I don't know. We're getting deep in the weeds, but
evolution to me with that type of stuff. I've been to a lot of museums. I went to one in Europe that shows like the actual like lineage of like when birds and dinosaurs and all the shit you're talking about, and it still trips me out. Like some of it makes sense, but the birds were so different. Like dinosaurs are so different. Dinosaur birds have such a different archaeology and like what they were versus like modern day birds. Like it's like completely different.
So does like the fucking, like theory of evolution man. Like when they show the man, that's like a little crawly little thing. Like, if you believe in evolution, like the birds isn't any different than humans.
So yeah, this is the conversations I have with Christy all the time, and she loves talking about this stuff because we'll talk about the idea of like, where did everything come from? She's obviously a big God person, and I'm not as godly, I suppose, but I do believe in something, I suppose, but I don't phrase it in the same manner she does. But when we talk about the idea of evolution, we were literally having this conversation about how evolution is actually perceived by people, and like people that are God-fearing versus people that just believe in science and solely the science, and how they believe that it wasn't created by some other entity. It was created by an atom.
It was a total random accident.
It was a random accident
versus creationism.
And I go in that world, and when we both dive into our pools of what we talk about, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to go any further than that without telling you.
No, you're fine. I've had debates like this before, and I'm like,
and I'm not necessarily against diving into the pool that she dives into either. For the record, I think a lot of that stuff. She's like, okay, so where did the accident come from? She's like, that's it right there. She's like, she's like, that's what you're missing.
People always say like it's crazy. It's crazy. What I think is like where people who kind of shit on creationism will be like, that's just absurd. And then it's like, it's also just as absurd to think like one random accident happened, and if a tenth of an inch closer to the sun, we'd all burn to death. A tenth of an inch further from the sun, we'd all freeze to death. And it all just worked out perfectly. That we'd be on this place and have a living in minds and free will. Like, it's just as crazy.
To that side's point, the God-fearing point versus the idea of creationism point, more because of the perfection within the creation.
That's what I'm saying. A random accident just created this perfect
entity.
Habitat, like that. It's wild. I mean, you could argue both sides of it, but
it's very, very interesting topic. Yeah, it's super like. So when you're talking about evolution, we're talking about the thing like the scaling of birds. We're going back to your conversation about storks and like the original are like fucking. Like, in some manner, I believe in what you're talking about, but in another, I still think it's like it's very far away still to me of being applicable in a way. I don't know.
It's far away from being certain. That's where I always break down too. Like people are like, oh, science this, science that. Like science had Pluto as a planet like 20 years ago, and now they're like it's a comet. Like it was a planet. It was in textbooks as official. Look, I don't know who this paid ref is, but we got a paid ref commenting here.
I don't know.
Hey guys, I was one of the refs during that game, and I just got a fat bag, no cap, for that 2-point conversion. See you next week. All right, maybe we'll see him next week. The paid ref making a random appearance. All right.
Welcome to the stream. We have to get the fuck out of here. Holy hell.
Favorite Broadway play. You said the Nutcracker? Is that the only one you've ever seen?
No, I've seen so many. There are so many going through my brain that I've seen based on Force, based on going with Chris, and just in general. Fiddler on the Roof is a good one. There's another one called POTUS, which is very like raunchy play that we saw in Berkeley. That's just like all these women that are taking care of this drunk president, and it's like all based on comedy. Some of them were on SNL and shit. It was like very funny. It's called POTUS.
That sounds like off Broadway.
That's like a little off Broadway. That's why I didn't really want to say it exactly. Lion King was good.
That's just a play, cuz.
Yeah.
He's like, I saw a local community.
I'm gonna keep talking. Lion King is good. Lion King was good. Nutcracker on Ice, for the record.
Have you seen Rent?
Not on Broadway. On DVD, yeah, of course.
Have you seen? Oh no, Rent them play. Yeah.
No, never. Nah.
You ever see
Jersey Boys?
You saw Phantom of the Opera?
Never.
Have you seen
Jersey Boys? I've seen. They're good.
I haven't seen Jersey Boys. Have you? What's the good one with the fucking guys who did South Park? I want to see that one. I haven't seen it.
Not sure.
Book of Mormon.
Oh,
the Book of Mormon.
I didn't see that.
We should see that. We should make a trip.
Trey and Matt, they made that?
Yeah. The Book of Mormon.
I would go see that. Sure. Absolutely.
Let's do it. We'll fucking schedule it. All right. And worst century or decade to be alive. And we ended up with like BC, the Dark Ages.
But a decade, we're talking 45-35 according to D'Lo. So
Okay, 35-45. Great Depression, World War II.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Sounds fucking terrible. All right, I'll make a few points and then we'll get the fuck out of here.
Well,
this has been a great episode.
Yeah, I want to go through the schedule and just get your take on each game. Money line. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
Giants, Panthers.
Give me the Panthers.
Give me the Giants. Patriots, Bears.
Bears.
I'll take the Bears. Bills, Colts. Bills at Colts.
Bills.
Yeah, I'll take the Bills there. I might switch to the Colts. Broncos at Chiefs.
Chiefs.
That's trappy. Kind of like Broncos there almost, but I'll take the Chiefs there. Falcons at Saints.
Falcons.
I got Derek Carr in a trap game there. I'm gonna go Saints on that one. Niners at Bucks.
Give me the Bucks.
I'm taking the Niners off the bye. Healthy. C-Mac. Steelers at Commanders. Good game.
Commanders.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Commanders too. That's crazy. That line's -3. I think I'm going to take the Commanders. Vikings at Jaguars.
Vikings.
Okay. Trappy game also. I'll take the Vikings. A trap game though for all you folks out there. Titans at Chargers.
Chargers.
Yeah, I heard Will Levis might start. Are they really considering that? What are they doing? Mason Rudolph is healthy. I thought he's been playing decent.
Let's fucking get through these fucking games. All right.
Eagles, Cowboys. Eagles, Cowboys. I got the Chargers.
Give me the fucking Cowboys. Fuck it.
Nah, Eagles all day. Cowboys dead. Jets, Cardinals.
Give me the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'll take the Cards. Lions, Texans. Lions at Texans. Sunday Night Football.
I'm gonna go Lions. I almost went Texans, but I'm going Lions.
I know it's crazy. Lions have that weight. I'll take the Lions weight too. And then the Dolphins at the Rams. Monday Night Football.
Rams.
Yeah, give me the Rams too in LA. Actually, no, give me the Dolphins. Everyone loves LA. Give me the Dolphins. Give me Tyreek Hill for 200 yards.
All right, there you go. And then real quick, shout out to Ben Herbstreit. This will be our college football quick segment of the day. You know, Kirk Herbstreit's dog been on game day all this season. He's getting old, and today they had to put him down. Had cancer, but he's a great dog, legendary dog of the world. And then last weekend, Army football, no Bryson Daly, my guy, and it made me think, like, you know what? I give so much love to Bryson Daly, deservedly so, but they really are just a good overall team. You know, so I wanted to shout out a couple other guys, Kwame Udoh, Casey Larkin, Noah Short, Danny Fortner. You know, their defense held it down last week with Bryson Daly out 120-3 against Air Force. You know, so they got North Texas, and then they got the big one, Notre Dame. If they beat Notre Dame, they're out there. Shout out to Ben.
Shout out to Ben. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Ben. Love you, Ben.
Love you, kid.
Love you, Zach. I say love you, Ben, to the dog, but I love you too.
I said love you, kid. I was talking about Ben, but yeah.
Well, you were. You're talking about me.
I was talking about Ben.
You said kid. No one calls a dog kid.
Kid. I love you, kid.
Yeah, whatever.
Love
You're talking to me. All right. Then I take back my I love you to you.
Fine. Take it back.
All right. I love you. Peace.
All right, Row 26ers, we out of here. Shout out to Jamar Chase, put it on for the city. D-Lo, you're a lucky son of a bitch, bro. But congrats on the new baby, so I guess it's your week, kid. And we
shout out to the paid ref in the chats.
Yeah,
I don't
shout
think
out
that's
to Eddie not putting in a tight end and having Goddard on his fucking bench ready to rock against his Cowboys. He was really so upset about it. He started Likely, didn't even play.
Damn. And shout out to the paid ref. I don't think that's one of our friends. I think that's just some random guy.
I think that's
I'm all about it.
I got to block him, I think. Look,
I don't know if it's spam. I don't know. Yeah, put him on the stage. Let him shine.
Ban user and delete their comments. Done.
Nah, don't do that. He could just be a fan.
He could be, or he could. I didn't lose a viewer just now when I just did that. So he had to go, bro. This guy's a
why'd
bot.
you ban him? I don't know.
All right. Well,
You
if
never
another
know.
paid ref comes in next week, we'll let him live. How about that?
You banned him. He's not coming
No,
back.
another paid ref. Don't you get it? It's a bot.
No. All right. If another paid ref
If
comes
he
in,
never
we'll
doesn't
ban
come in next week, we'll get this guy back then.
All right. Fair enough.
Least
We'll
I
put
can
him where
do.
he's on a suspension.
I'm a man of the people, bro. Row 26. You know.
I thought it was just a fan. I don't know. I never even thought it was a bot.
Come on. All right, bro. But have a good week, and we'll be back next week, Sixers. It's always a pleasure.
Peace.
Peace.